to start.
So, great to see you all back. All of you, all five of you. Yeah, but I think it will pick up. I did have quite a few inquiries over the summer, new students, whoever that come to this class or afternoon class. So, yeah, fingers crossed. I was kind of expecting that the classes would build a little bit.
Yeah.
In the autumn. Just from the inquiries that I've had, I will be pushing the classes, just try and keep the notes up. Yeah, the only person that I've heard of that isn't coming back for the time being is Kevin. He's just kind of a little break for a while. But other than that, people should be back. So this month, I really want to kind of make it your own projects month. And the vague suggestion was perhaps working from old photos, which might be quite nice. That was something that somebody suggested a while back, so I thought that can be quite a nice option. Or, you know, it could be working from drawings or your own projects. So that would be the thing. I thought for myself and for the demos, in a way, come the new year, it's always quite, or the September, it's always nice to do a little bit of a recap on things. So I thought I'd work with black and white mediums for this project. So some of it can be drawing, some of it might be black and white painting. But I just thought that might be quite nice just to just focus a little bit on black and white and on tone. So that's the idea. So this was a little bit, I was just doing a bit of this yesterday, just as a warm up really.
Is that charcoal, is it?
Yeah, so I thought I'd use charcoal today. It's nice sort of tonal medium. I'm going to use this image. This is one I'm going to use at the weekend for workshops. So I thought it'd be a way of just getting the feel for that. So yeah, a little bit of charcoal. So really, I would generally start out. It doesn't have to be too precise really to start with, because any line drawing is going to get mullered. It's going to get lost very quickly. So it's just getting a bit of a sense of where things might end up. And then I really want to just get some broad masses of tone in to start with. So I'll go for a slightly thicker bit of charcoal. To me, this is the brightest area. There's a little, it's very light here, and I suppose that must be the sun there, so I guess there and there's the brightest. But there is a little bit of colour in the sky, something like this. This is picking up a bit of the texture of the board underneath. The other thing was, like on this one, I think it's a slightly textured paper, and I tend to work the charcoal in to start with, but in some areas I've just let it pick up a bit of the texture of the paper, which can be quite nice, but sometimes it's a bit intrusive, right? That is very intrusive. So this is a little bit of leather, just like a little bit of chamois leather. You can use your hands for this, but if you don't want to get completely covered, this is a way of just keeping them slightly cleaner. So that's a nice way of just softening that in and just leaving this bright area in the middle. There's one exercise I used to do where you just cover the whole page with charcoal and just then draw in the lines, which is quite a nice one. But sometimes the very bright bits get lost, so I tend to leave spaces where I want it to be really light.
There was a programme on television that did that. Did it all with charcoal, and then you just took out.
Yeah, and it's quite a nice way to work, really.
I've done it with oil paint.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, again, oils works really nicely, particularly oils because you've got a bit of, well, with things like charcoal and oils, you've got time to work. It doesn't dry too quickly, so you've got plenty of time to just keep moving the paint around. So this was actually quite an early morning. I took this photo. It's down the River Chalmer, and it's about October, quite a long time ago, probably nearly 10 years ago. But it's sort of like a bit frosty and misty. It's sort of quite nice atmosphere. So I always quite like that. So that would be the start. That bit wants to be white actually. So this is just an ordinary plastic rubber, and hopefully I can just get that a bit whiter. And then from there, I should be able to just start building some tone. These trees in the back, I'll start right in the background, so they can be here. It's a little bit of an all or nothing medium charcoal really, so I'm just going to put some charcoal roughly where I want it to be, and then I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. Like, this is these trees here, and then the come down to there. And then we've got this other bit of the riverbank. I think part of the idea of using charcoal, I just fancy doing some mediums I've not really done very much of for a long time. I used to use charcoal quite a bit when I was a student, and then when I left college I did a lot of paint drawings with charcoal, but they were kind of more imaginary drawings. Drawing landscapes I've not done an awful lot of using these mediums, so I thought it might be quite nice to try that and experiment a little bit. So that can be that, but obviously that's much too dark, so I need to lift that out a little bit. So these blenders are quite nice, and maybe a little bit of rag too, just wipe that off a bit. Some finger as well, just lift a little bit out. I mean, at that distance, I was thinking slightly like watercolour as well, in that you've still got the white of the paper showing through, so you get a nice, almost transparent feel to charcoal. It's a little bit too dark still, so I just lift them off my fingers. Just slightly darken that, but not too much.
It's not horrifying.
Sorry?
Might be a combination of me and you.
Does it come from down there?
It's like a tune.
And then just, actually you can work in, there's a bit of a reflection here too that can be just worked in. So leave some areas dark, but some areas slightly lighter. And then maybe work, and do a little bit of trees, so they can go in. This tree here, I thought I might make it a little bit bigger, because it rather lines up a bit too much with the ones behind. So. You can get some nice thin lines. Where I've worn it flat, just using the edge, I can get a nice thin twiggy line. I've lost a bit of the shape there. Too bad. A little bit of one of the trees over here. So again, this is quite dark. So this is dark masses to start with. I'm not sure I want it too bitty, just a few, break the edge up a little bit. And things with trees, you can always change the shapes a little bit if it's not the most interesting of shapes. Maybe just change them a bit, perhaps. Maybe bring something a bit like that coming in. That's nice thing about charcoal is you can experiment. It's quite a quick medium. You can very quickly block tones in, so to make a stronger, more interesting image, you know, play around a little bit with the shapes. I prefer that, just coming over a little bit like that, and have the other one coming over the side. So it's taking an image and then just making it your own, really. Making a few alterations as you go.
How do you decide, you know the coloured bits, how can you see the tonal differences there? Can you see them?
What, hair?
Yeah, 'cause it confuses my eye.
It is quite confusing. I think they're just a bit lighter in the background. Another idea, one of the things I did while I was away, yes, I've got, as you can see, I've got some paintings here, and a few more tucked behind here. So I went to Norfolk and took part in a painting competition, but there's also workshops and things like that you could do, and different activities. So the nice thing was we got to painting in interesting places, like interiors, street scenes. At times we had models, and then we also had, this was, they had this, we went to the Munnings Gallery as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant.
They got a retired racehorse for us to for us. So that's my having a go. This was a little painting I did there, and then I'd go different studies, things like that. So it's just a really great opportunity to try different things. But one of the things, there were a couple of workshops, you could say. One of the ones I took. It might be the island actually. You know, they were suggesting maybe try just working black and white for a while, things like that.
Do you know who the racehorse was?
I don't know. No, I don't know the
You might have
name.
painted a famous racehorse.
I might have done, I probably didn't know at the time.
Something.
They probably said at the time, I've forgotten the name.
I would be interested in that.
Yeah, she's got this, it's like a retired racehorse. So yeah, it's just a nice opportunity to do all sorts of things.
Red rum.
Yeah.
Really, really gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is just, I think I would just treat that larger. But yeah, actually, one of the things that was suggested was when using the photos, convert them to black and white, which you can do very easily on your phone, take a picture on your phone, do the black and white filter, and that way you do see what it looks like. It's just tone, just light and dark.
Yeah.
And really, it's you know, so it's pretty, it's almost like more important than the colour sometimes. And the most strongest paintings are just tonal paintings. It's quite interesting just sort of softening edges. That looks more atmospheric, and just softening that out a little bit. So playing with shapes, playing with edges, sharp edges, soft edges. My friend bought me this book while I was there, Edward Sugo. It was a second-hand book. But yeah, looking at his work, I mean, he painted in that kind of Norfolk area, East Anglian area. But a lot of them are just, you know, they're very tonal images, really. You know, lights and darks. Some got, you know, there is colour there, but a lot of them just function very strong tonal shapes.
Yeah.
So that's worth having a little browse. So I've kind of had this sort of open in the house and just look at different pages, different days, and it's just quite nice to just, yeah, look at it. And yeah, I mean, that one's a really strong, you know, moody sort of Norfolk sky. I don't know if you've come across Edward Sugo, it's very famous for, perhaps not that.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at that, I mean, the lights are here and here, the design of it, it's got lights here and here. Got this very strong contrast with these really deep greys, haven't they? And then these little bits of light here. So it's really interesting to see, but not massively complicated in the way, but very effective.
Yeah.
So he's quite an interesting artist to look at. Strong tonal designs, strong shapes. Is that it? Enough to get you started? Yeah. So I'll leave that there and we'll just have a look at that. Oh, good. Yeah, oh, that's good.